Greetings YouTube, my name is Itchy Braids and I am just out in my garden today enjoying this nice breeze, and I decided, you know what, it's been 2 weeks, so it's time to update everybody on the garden and show how it has grown, as well as the new crops I'm about to start growing. Now, just for reference, this is about 2 months into me having the garden, or I should say starting it. Remember, all of these plants that I'm about to show you, they basically all started from a little seed. I planted them in the dirt and now we have a garden. So let's start there. It is pretty much the middle of May. Summer is about to start. It's about to start getting hot down here in Florida. So let's start the video now. So making our way first is our pumpkin plant. And if you go back and watch the last video 2 weeks ago, as you can see, he has really just taken off. This pumpkin, mind you, when I first got it, it was about probably half the size of my hand. This did not grow from seed. My neighbors, shout out to my neighbors, they have a garden too. They gifted me this and it's just growing. Right here I have some copper wire. If you know, you know. But let's proceed. And before I move on, you know, this is really cool. This is a wild tomato plant. I guess when I had my seed trays, which are basically these, you can put seeds in them. I had some tomatoes growing right here, and I think maybe the rain made the seeds pop out of the tray. And now I have a wild tomato, actually a couple. There's another one right here growing next to the pumpkin. I'm probably gonna move them, but it's cool for now. I didn't intend for it to grow this way, but it's doing pretty good. Next, so I am 99% sure that this plant is a jelly melon. This is actually not the pumpkin. This is a jelly melon, pumpkin jelly melon. And as you're gonna see, I have squash basically surrounding this tree. Right here, we have a watermelon. And this watermelon is probably, I wanna say a little over a week old, maybe 2 weeks. But yeah, making our way back around the squash, we have a lemon squash right here, and this is about the same age as the watermelon, going on 2 weeks. And as you can see, he is thriving. Right here, this is another squash plant, and this is either I'm guessing lemon squash or pumpkin. I planted them together, so it's one of the two. If we make our way to the left slightly, and you see I still got my Spanish needle, the bees love them. This tomato has gotten really big and the leaves are kind of droopy right now because it's starting to get dark here. You know, when it becomes night, plants, sometimes the leaves fold in. It's almost like they're sleeping. But if you look in here, as you can see, I'm already getting tomatoes. It's 3 on just this plant alone. And as you're about to see, I have another tomato plant right here. 2 tomatoes that I'm aware of. One right here, one right here. And these are indigo tomatoes, which means when they grow full size, they're gonna be purple. Over here I have my kale. And if you're wondering why it looks basically close to the same size as last time or last video, it's because I've been making salads out of this. Like, I've probably made in total 6 or 7 salads. I just come outside, you know, take me a leaf off. Show you right here. You just take the leaf off, bam, I got this big old leaf now. I'm gonna put it in a salad, come out and grab a little more later, and they'll grow right back. So definitely, if you plan on prepping, grow kale. Kale will grow almost the whole year, basically until it dies. And over here I just got some more small kale. These were actually planted after my purple kales. This is a cabbage. Both of these are cabbage, I believe. Another kale plant that was planted late. And I'm almost certain that this is also a jelly melon based off the strings. Of course, yeah, it's not a pumpkin because pumpkins have these strings, other squash as well, but the only plant that I planted with strings like this was a jelly melon. So I'm almost certain that this is a jelly melon. Fingers crossed, I want a jelly melon. Making my way behind the kale, we have another squash plant, and this is either My guess is this is a pumpkin, but once again, I'm not 100% sure. So this is where the fun happens. As you can see, it's a lot of just green going straight back. Unfortunately, well, I'll tell you the good news first. And just to make you all aware, this is corn, if you didn't know. It's almost taller than me. I have some squash. And in total, I've probably gotten about 10 squash, which is good. I still have squash left. And as you're about to see, I still have some growing in here and in my other mound over there. But so I've said squash. We have the glass corn, which is once it's fully an adult, and I'll show the pictures once it fully grows, it's gonna look like corn but Skittles. Right here we have some beans starting to form. This dark green plant right here, these are beans. Don't ask me what type of beans because I don't remember what I planted, if I'm being honest, but I know it grows and I know it's a bean and I know it's healthy for you. And as you can see, the bean has started to wrap its way around and is basically using, I don't know what type of creature that is, but it's basically using the corn stalk as a post to grow on. And that's why I planted the beans so close to the corn. Now the bad news. Why this one has slightly yellow leaves. I found not too long ago that I was at war with squash bugs. And if you know anything about squash bugs, that is not something good you want to have. Like, this is residue from pests. Squash bugs are pests. There's another type of pest called vine borers. Those are pests. They get in your squash plant and they will kill it quick. That's why these plants, or that's why some of these leaves look diseased. I'm going to spray it with homemade organic spray that I make. But that's another topic. Try to avoid squash bugs if you can, because if you can't, like if I feel like if I would have waited a day longer, I would have lost my squash. Actually, I was going to make a video and post it yesterday, but I didn't get the chance to because I was eliminating the squash bugs. And I'm going to have to clearly spray this again and remove these unhealthy plants so my squash continue to survive. Because as you can see, they're doing pretty good. I'm still getting squash. There are a couple small ones in there, but it's not as healthy as it can be. So now moving past our first mound, we have a marigold. And marigold is good at keeping predators away. It had way more flowers, but marigold is not a plant that needs a lot of water. And it's been raining severely here in Central Florida. So the more this plant gets water, I've noticed, the more your flowers will start to die. Because I had way more flowers than this at first, but best believe it's still a healthy plant. Just, it's not lacking in water, I should say. Right here we have another tomato. And as you can see, 2 baby tomatoes. Right here we have another tomato, and look at that fat, juicy tomato. Hold up, I just had it. You see that thing right there? That's gonna be delicious when it's ready. On to our next marigold, and the bees love this, like I said in the last video. We got some cabbage growing, and uh-oh, do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Right in the mound. What is that? Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Hold up. Christmas came early. Look at that thing right there. Boy, look at that thing right there. Anyways, another squash plant. As you can see, this one looks extremely healthy compared to the ones back there. But yeah, just make sure, if you plan on growing squash, make sure you keep away squash bugs. I got another beanstalk growing. It looks like something's starting to eat it, but as you can see, it's wrapping its way around the corn, and that's what, hold up, let me focus. Now on to our next plant. We have beans right here, and it looks like something's taking bites out of the leaves, but that's okay because the beanstalk is still growing right up the corn, just like our second mound back here. And I didn't mention, next to the cabbage, the basil is thriving. Look at this basil. Check the last video and just look at how small the basil was 2 weeks ago. So I mentioned the beans, I've mentioned the squash, the corn, which is more glass corn, and over here we have an okra. This right here is okra, and I did not show you, Is that a okra? Oh, we got okra too. What? This right here in my thumb, if you can see it, I'm sorry. Right? This is an okra. And aside from that, we have another bean plant right here. And I'm sorry if you can't see because the plants are so jumbled up. But yeah, 2 beans, 3 corns, 2 squash, 1 okra. Last but not least, we have another pumpkin plant. He's about 2 weeks old as well. And yeah, that concludes the video.